Happy Monday. Welcome into Payoff Pitch. We are Action Network's MLB betting podcast presented by BetMGM. Brendan Glasheen in the host chair today with BJ Cunningham and Tanner McGrath, our MLB analysts for today's show. We are with you Tuesday and Friday as well this week for the podcast. Please rate, review, and subscribe if you have not done so already. If you happen to be watching on the Action Network HQ YouTube page, why don't you hit the like button on the video, please? We would appreciate that. And also subscribe to our YouTube channel. I know what you're all thinking. Why might I be wearing sunglasses? If you are watching the program, you can believe what you want, but the studio lights here at HQ, I'm at the HQ in New York City, and the lights in the studio are blinding me. So I put my sunglasses on. I wore them on the walk to the office, so I'm wearing them. And you can choose to not believe me. That's fine. Yeah, take wherever your mind goes when it comes to that. But we're just going to dive right in. We've got a lot to do. At least I do. These guys too. They have work to do too. Well, you will cover other sports too. So, okay, let's not waste time. We've got 15 games, doubleheader today. Phillies, Braves. Let's go Braves. Need a sweep. Need this win total to go under. That's my aside. How about a best bet today, BJ, for this slate?
Well, first of all, I gotta say you look great with the sunglasses, Brendan. But my best bet is going to be Angels Mariners over 7.5 runs. Detmer's on the mound for the Angels. He's a strikeout or nothing pitcher. Got a K per nine rate over 10. Walk per nine rate is sitting at 3.7, and he's in the bottom 30th percentile in both hard hit rate allowed and average exit velocity allowed. And all that is translated to a 4.6 expected ERA. And he has not been pitching well lately since the beginning of August. xFIP above 5.5. He's given up 22 earned runs in his last 7 starts, with one of those coming against the Mariners, where he got tagged for 7 runs. And here's the problem for Detmers is he has one really good pitch. It's a slider. But outside of that pitch, everyone is below average. His fastball has a stuff plus rating of 91. Curveball only has a stuff plus rating of 92. The Mariners are an above average lineup against left-handed pitching, 108 weighted runs created plus. And they are the second best lineup in baseball against left-handed fastballs, 397 expected weighted on base average. He'll be going up against Logan Gilbert, who has been very, very good this season. 3.7 expected ERA, very, very low, 1.62 walk per nine rate. Gilbert does have a great slider and a good splitter. Both have been fantastic out pitches for him, but his fastball is below average. He throws it over 40% of the time, allowing a 354 expected weighted on base average. Stuff plus on that pitch is only 89. Looks like Ohtani's still going to be out of the lineup here for the Angels. He did take some swings a couple days ago, so he may be in the lineup, but I wouldn't hope for it. And I'm actually projecting him out of this game as well. But the Angels, either way, have been a top 10 team in terms of weighted on base average against right-handed pitching and been above average against right-handed fastballs. So I projected 8.2 runs for this game, so I like the value on over 7.5 runs at -110.
Okay. Tanner, how about you? What jumps out on this rather large Monday slate? We're not used to these, but yeah, we're coming down the stretch.
Yeah, this will be a fun one. I know all three of us are Red Sox fans here, and I like the Red Sox money line today, hosting the Yankees. I believe you can get.
We're still talking about the Red Sox? Okay.
Minus.
It's not whoa. It's not over yet. Don't give up hope.
Not over yet. I believe you can get minus 125, minus 130 in the market. I came on this show last week and said that I was going to be buying the Yankees for the remainder of the season.
You did.
I thought that they were fixed because of an important prospect call-up and some general positive regression. Then the Jason Dominguez injury hit, tore his UCL, probably out. I believe he's out for the season. So now it's like all of the same concerns that I had before all return. This team doesn't have any left-handed bats. They have no depth. They have no balance, and they have no speed. We are back to square one, and square one is the Yankees can't hit right-handed pitching. And this is a funny right-handed pitching matchup to me. I think these are two similar pitchers, Clark Schmidt and Cutter Crawford. I think it's funny that Clark Schmidt uses his cutter more than Cutter does. Both have great stuff, but questionable results. A couple of young guns who maybe haven't gotten it together in the big leagues yet. They've flashed potential, but continue to be inconsistent. But they both have really high upside because of their stuff. However, over the past 30 days, Cutter Crawford's posted a 106 stuff plus rating. Clark Schmidt is down to 91 stuff plus. So when you have two guys with pretty good stuff, but questionable results, and one guy's stuff metric all of a sudden just drops while the other guy's is fine, it's hard not to trust Cutter. especially when you've got Clark Schmidt facing off against your normal hard-hitting Red Sox offense, which regularly features 5 or 6 hard-hitting left-handed bats. It's worth mentioning Clark has a weighted on-base average 100 points higher against southpaws this season, 374 to 280. And the Red Sox ranked 9th in WRC plus against right-handed pitching over the past month. Meanwhile, Cutter is going to take on, as I mentioned, that all right-handed Yankees lineup, which ranks dead last in WRC plus against the side over the past 30 days and just lost their best left-handed hitter. Yeah, I'm going to take Cutter in this matchup. It's also worth mentioning the Yankees used a bunch of their good relievers last night in an extra inning victory over Milwaukee. Clay Holmes, Tommy Conley, Wandy Peralta, Nick Ramirez. Nick Ramirez pitched a lot in that game. And the Yankees do have to travel from New York to Fenway. It's not the biggest deal, but a slight travel advantage to the Sox, who stayed in Boston over the weekend, losing a series to the Orioles, but I think they bounce back today behind Cutter and against Clark Schmidt.
All right. I had to travel from New England to New York too, and
How was it?
tough for me. And look where look what I look like. So that's a good handicap when you look at it that way. On to let's look at, we do our Fade the Public segment, and we try to identify using the Action app where the cash might be coming in on a particular team, and if the other side is maybe worth discussing. The Toronto Blue Jays are home. Chris Bassett has been a much better pitcher in Canada this year, Tanner, and it looks as if the people are coming in on Toronto. 73% of the cash is on the Blue Jays. Texas sends Dunning to the mound. Is Texas worth a look? We'll go to Tanner first on this, since he's in Canada. Mm-hmm. Is Texas worth a look at? I think I'm seeing plus 120.
Yeah, my hometown, in quotes, Blue Jays.
That's important to say, because I mean, seeing that the Red Sox and Patriots, I wouldn't know. So
yeah, I mean, I live in Nova Scotia, and in the Northeast, we're all Red Sox fans here, anyways. But anyways, to this game, Rangers Jays. I hate this game. I hate these two pitchers. In the end, I looked at this in a few different ways. One, you have two overvalued pitchers, consistently overperforming their peripherals, especially Chris Bassett, battling against two good, if not great, offenses. The Blue Jays, and specifically, have a 141 WRC plus over the past 2 weeks. And these are also two bad bullpens, relatively. The Rangers, I haven't believed in the Rangers bullpen all season, and they've looked pretty bad over the past few weeks. 6 ERA, 1.6 whip, they're bottom 10 in reliever xFIP. I'm scared because these are two good defenses, and I think that the total is a bit high, but I would look towards the over or nothing here. I would stay away from the side. What do you think, BJ?
It's Rangers money line or anything for me. You mentioned Chris Bassett, obviously overperforming his expected ERA. Him and Dunning, very, very similar, expected metrics. So you can make the argument that there's only a slight advantage for Bassett pitching in Canada. But you look what he's done, over the past, essentially since the beginning of August. Yes, he hasn't given up a lot of runs, but his xFIP in almost every single start is above 4.5. So he's due to regress at some point. And then you also look, Bassett is about a 40% sinker pitcher. The Rangers are one of the best lineups in baseball. Again, not only against right-handed pitching, but right-handed sinkers. 395 expected weighted on base average. So if I had to pick anything, it would be the Rangers. I projected the Blue Jays as a ever so slight home favorite. And the other thing with Bassett is that if you look at his splits, lefties versus righties, I mean, he's 350 expected, or 350 weighted on base average against lefties, and very good against righties. Rangers have 6 left-handed bats that they can throw at him.
Right.
So very, very good. I think a decent matchup here for the Rangers. So if anything, I would take the Rangers at plus 120 or better.
Sounds like you think the Rangers could score a few runs here. Maybe we can get both Rangers in the over.
They've just stopped hitting, and that's just what is so frustrating about the Rangers right now, is that they've been so good for the entire season, and they've kind of just fallen off lately. So hopefully they can hit the ball today.
Yeah, Astros are taking advantage of that, now building a little lead on Seattle and Texas in the AL West. How about an underdog for today? Texas is one, but one that you, BJ, want to point out yourself, an underdog for today's Monday slate in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, I mean, if you follow me in the Action Recap, I really wanted to take the A's at plus 260, speaking of Framber Valdez. But Mason Miller is going to be on a pitch count, so don't really think I can stomach it, at least give it out on the show. So instead, I'll go with the Cardinals. I'll fade my good friend Dean Kremer from the Orioles, who just I don't get it with him. I just don't. Even if you look, on paper, his last few starts have actually been pretty good, but I mean, his xFIP is over 4.8 since the beginning of August. Like this, and his expected ERA for the season is over 5. This can't keep happening, but it just continually keeps happening. His stuff plus rating is now down to 99. All of his pitches are allowing an expected weighted on base average over 300. He's near the bottom of in Major League Baseball in just about every single StatCast metric. One of the lowest chase rates. And overall for the season, I mean, St. Louis has been better in terms of weighted on base average and weighted runs created plus against right-handed pitching than the Orioles have been. And I mean, Dakota Hudson is not a good pitcher. I mean, his expected area is above 5.5 right now. He can't stop walking guys. He can't strike anybody out. So I don't think there's this significant gap not only between these offenses, and then even if you look at the bullpens, like the xFIP, pitching plus, there's not that big of a difference between the Orioles and the Cardinals. So I'll just keep fading Dean Kremer and keep losing. So Cardinals plus 145.
Okay, we talked about Dean Kremer all year.
Yeah,
I think you found a way to mention him on Friday. I forget the context, but you did work him in. Yeah. All right, very good.
He's always on my mind, Brendan.
Always on time. Okay, not a consensus dog day. Tanner, who emerges for you as an underdog for Monday?
Yeah, BJ, good luck fading Dean Kremer again. My least favorite thing to do in baseball is do exactly.
Also, by the way, the Kremer thing, inside joke. If you've been listening all year, DeBundo.
By the way, DeBundo's never pronounced a name wrong, so he likes to get on me when I pronounce names wrong, which is all the time.
Anyways,
go ahead, Tanner. Sorry. Yeah. Anyways,
let's talk about another team that I like to fade against right-handed pitching, like the Yankees. The Giants, the San Francisco Giants, have the 4th worst WRC plus against righties over the past month. The 2nd worst OPS, only ahead of the Yankees. And I know that Anthony has mentioned on this podcast a bit about their problem. And the big problem is that the Giants are stuck in a platoon hole where they can't get enough guys that can hit both sides of the plate. And it's harder to find 2 guys that can hit each side than 1 guy that can hit both. Anyways, their offense has been bad. It's been slumping a lot in the second half, and they are taking on the Cleveland Guardians today. And I will be betting the Guardians at plus 125 behind Gavin Williams, a right-handed young pitcher who I am really high on because he is a big boy righty with a big boy fastball. Hard upper 90s, can hit triple digits, 14% swinging strike rate, 113 stuff plus. When his fastball is on, he can carve up hitters, and his secondaries play well off of it. When that velocity's up, hitters are swinging underneath it. You got everything. And I'm much higher on Gavin Williams than I am on Alex Cobb, the Giants starting pitcher today, who has an expected ERA a run higher than his ERA, a 98 stuff plus rating, is punching out only 20% of batters after flirting with 25% strikeout rate over the past few seasons. I think he's regressing. I think he's due for more regression. Final point, these are 2 pretty good bullpens. The Guardians only used Eli Morgan in a loss against the Angels on Sunday, but the Giants used Tyler Rogers and Camilo Doval. And it's tough not to like the Guardians in the later frames with Emmanuel Clase here. So I think that the Guardians are a good look as road pups behind my guy, Gavin Williams, especially considering how bad this Giants offense can be and has been.
Okay, very good. Let's move on. Get a couple more. I think you both have a couple more sides you'd like to give out, and then we can go. BJ, what do you got? Final bets.
Yeah, I mean, I also am going to be on the Guardians tonight, so Tanner broke that down very eloquently, so I won't go into much more detail on that. But I also do like the Padres, plus 150 against the Dodgers. Pedro Avila made a very interesting start against the Phillies in his last start. He went 6 2/3, didn't give up a run, but he walked 6 guys and only struck out 1. So a very weird, interesting start. Somebody that has been pitching in the bullpen for most of the season. And now they brought him into the starting rotation. But Gavin Stone's going to be on the mound for the Dodgers, and he's really been a disaster in a very limited sample size, to be fair. Over 7 expected ERA. His last start in Boston, he got roughed up pretty badly on August 27th. I know he's a decent stuff plus candidate, but the Padres have been hitting the ball better as of late. I know the Dodgers just will not stop hitting, but I projected the Dodgers only at minus 123, so I think there's some decent value in the Padres. So guards and Padres are the other two picks for me.
Okay, are we still in line for Blake Snell Wednesday against the Dodgers?
Yes, we are.
We are, and last I looked, the odds hadn't changed much. If anything,
minus 200, the favorite.
200. Yep. So
and then Steele's plus 150.
Yep. So basically, I looked yesterday. It was minus 175, and plus 150. So pretty much. I mean, they both pitched pretty well in their last starts. Like much pitched exactly the same. So you don't expect much odds movement. But I tell you what, if Snell blows up, I'm going to be so interested to see what happens. We don't want that. We don't want that to happen, though, Tanner. I know. We don't want that to happen.
Now, if he pitches well Wednesday, that might lock it up.
It might.
I think it does. I think if he survives Wednesday against the Dodgers, and I think he will, I think it's locked up. Fangraphs released their Cy Young predictor model, and it does based on not on FIP, not on the projected one, but RA9, which is runs allowed per 9, their model, has Snell just a tad ahead, maybe a run ahead of Steele, and then Strider's a little bit below that. So I really think he just needs to get through this week, and I think it's locked up.
Okay. All right. And I think that game's on ESPN. I know Tuesday night's game's ESPN Plus. I'm going off Zerillo's wisdom here. I'm just trying to find it on the schedule here. Maybe it's not, but I don't know. That's not going to have as much theater as we know because the Padres have underachieved.
And his next start after the Dodgers one will be at home against the Rockies. So good matchup there.
Let's go. All right, Tanner, I think you got one more side that we can go.
Yeah, let's get out of here with an interesting one, a fade of my favorite Marlins. I'm taking the Brewers money line somewhere in the minus 150 to minus 160 range. I've talked about bad offenses on this entire podcast, but here is a team that crushes left-handed pitching. Brewers have a 125 WRC plus against Southpaws over the past month. That's 10th in MLB. And they're battling Jesus Luzardo, who has lost a tad bit of command as the season has progressed. He has been shaky in points in the second half of the season. Had a bad stretch against Houston, New York, Texas, St. Louis. The guy has never approached the number of innings as he's pitched this season. He barely broke 100 last year, and he's at a 155 entering this start. Now, look, his velocity seems to be fine. So this whole he's tired thing could be a myth. I think his arm slot's okay. And I love Luzardo, but I just can't power rate or value him as high as I have in the first half of the season. He doesn't look quite like himself, and the numbers aren't quite the same. And, the fish are slumping. I mean, Luis Ariz is clearly playing hurt, which makes me very concerned. They had a bullpen day yesterday where every high leverage reliever threw in, and it was an impressive, important 5-4 win, but Tanner Scott, Andrew Nardi, and David Robertson threw a combined 79 pitches. So their bullpen is stretched entering this one. And the Brewers are starting Brandon Woodruff, who has been dominant since returning to Major League action. He has looked so good. He has a 114 stuff plus and a 109 pitching plus over the past month. His expected ERA is below 3. He has a .79 whip. And here are some stats about his fastball, which I love. 96 miles per hour average velocity. The best swinging strike rate of any four-seam in the majors, 18.8%. The best called strike plus whiff rate of any four-seam in the major, 35.5%. Third best batting average against allowed and hard contact allowed of any four-seam in the majors, 155 and 18% respectively. Pair that with a changeup that has a sub 100 average against and a slider that earns strikes religiously, and it's tough to stop this guy. I don't see the slumping Marlins stopping that pitcher. I think the Brewers get to Luzardo and a sleepy, tired fish bullpen, and I think the Marlins drop this one on the road, giving the Brewers minus 160 or better.
Okay, excellent. And I'm not seeing, by the way, just to wrap it, I don't see Padres Dodgers on ESPN Wednesday, so that's a shame. It's okay. But regardless, that's fascinating. Yeah, how Snell pitches Wednesday if he stinks, or Tanner, for you, if they just manage it, like, hey, just get him out there for 5 innings, 1 to 2 earned runs, even if the pitch count's low.
I said
save him.
Yeah, I said before the Houston start, if he gets through the Astros and the Dodgers, 10 innings, 4 earned runs, 12
Yes.
strikeouts, 8 walks. I think he'll win the Cy Young. Well, he pitched 6 innings of 2-run ball with like 8 strikeouts and 4 walks in Houston. We are right in line. Just give me the same start again, and it's over.
Okay. Yeah, next
Tanner's
Rockies, and then after that, it looks like it's going to be the Cardinals will be his next start at home.
Beautiful.
Okay. Tanner's got a 40-1 ticket for those wondering why he's so
Me too.
interested. Oh, you do too?
I do too, but I also have a Justin Steele 40-1 ticket. So
how lucky.
As long as these two don't just blow up, I'll be happy.
Okay, we are back. Payoff Pitch is back tomorrow, hoping I can figure out this light situation. And we got the job done, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We made it. For BJ Cunningham, Tanner McGrath, thanks to David Payne, as always. I don't shut out David enough on these. David Payne is our editor for Payoff Pitch on the audio side at Action Network. So thanks to David. Brendan Glasheen signing off. We return tomorrow for Payoff Pitch presented by BetMGM. You all have a great Monday, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.